Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. And would everybody
Bonjour.
please just look at this? Look at the state of this.
Bonjour, tout
Bonjour,
le monde.
gracious.
La
Bonjour,
résistance.
monsieur. Yes, folks, tonight for your viewing and listening pleasure, we have long promised, put off, we have finally got His Lordship, the French Welshman, the one and only Ilan Reis, who is here to share with us his passion for knives. Just before we get started on that, the elephant in the room is that Stephen is not with us tonight. Just give a wee thought for him. Sally was involved in a traffic accident this afternoon, so he's with her. Everything's fine. Everybody got home safely and everything. It was just everybody's just a wee bit shaken up. So I'm sure that all your best wishes will be going out to Stephen. In his absence, Mikey and myself will be taking Ilan through the roller coaster ride, the grand adventure that has been his journey into knives. There's a classical literature reference for someone there who can bear to find it. And we're going to kick off. Mikey, you got lots of questions for Ilan himself, haven't you? I know I have.
I've got one or two questions for the Frenchman in the room with his beret.
Exactly, and I'm sure you guys as well would love to throw some questions in there. Apart from anything else, Ilan has promised to conduct the entire interview in a French accent, if not in the French language.
I thought that was a Welsh accent.
Well, to be honest, a lot of the people in the chat.
I doubt you can tell the difference, Mikey.
True, that is very true.
So thank you very much for joining us all. We'll kick this off because this is going to be one of our short, sharp stories. And in keeping with our short, sharp stories, is going to run for half an hour. We're going to finish off at 8 o'clock and let Ilan off the hook more than anything else. But to kick it all off, Ilan, our first question for you is: how did you get started collecting knives?
Well, I went on a night out, and I got stabbed in the back, and I walked home. And then I woke up the next morning. I was like, "Oh, I got this massive pain in my shoulder," and there was a knife there, and I've carried it ever since.
The thing is, I don't know whether he's joking or not. Oh, Ilan, I think it's a wee bit irresponsible of you to be encouraging that as a way of starting collecting knives.
Well, if I was Julius Caesar, I'd have loads, wouldn't I?
Infamy.
I'd have a full collection.
They've all got it in for me.
They've all got it in for me.
Yeah.
So how long have you been collecting them then? How long has it been since you were stabbed?
I've carried a knife since I was 6 years old. It was like a classic SD, but it was slightly larger. It was like a 74mm model. Ambassador, yeah, it must have been Ambassador, and it was. I think my granddad got it from work, from like the company he was working for. It had their brand on it, and he gave it to me when I was 6, and I carried it until I was 21.
Wow!
I wore down the blade completely, then got another one, and then like I wore down about 2 or 3 of them, and then carried it until I was 21. When I went to France and got caught carrying it in my pocket before going into the Saint-Chapelle.
Oh.
Yeah, but they let me carry it and take it through and stuff. Yeah, but the new laws had just come in that year. But yeah, I stopped carrying it after that. Yeah, and and then I got back into. I can't remember what I bought. Maybe it must have been maybe 2019, and I was just. I was in that situation again where I just never had a knife on me, and it was just annoying me and bothering me that I wasn't able to do the things I used to be able to do, constantly just pulling out. I've always carried like a multi-tool or something with me, and I've always been that person where people turn to going, "Oh, do you have a knife on you? Do you have a pair of scissors on you? Do you have a screwdriver?" That sort of, I'm that person. And then they bring back the knife in 2 pieces usually. So I just tell them to bring me the box. from now on. Yeah.
Brilliant. So, what's your main carry nowadays? What's your main knife that we will generally find in Eland's pocket?
Well, I normally carry my Michael May in a randy slip with
A randy slip, eh?
a randy slip. Oh, randy slips, come on.
Yeah.
Just pure quality craftsmanship. Très bon, très bon. Okay. And I've got a little bead on mine that was made by RDS wood turning and acrylic, and it's got a little squirrel on it with a certain slippy face on it.
I can recognise that wildlife.
Yeah. You
find
them everywhere in South Wales. They're pests.
The pests in Wales, so he's not a red squirrel, is he? He's not one of those grey ones.
Yeah. No, this is a knife I carry the most.
Yeah, that is rather pretty.
Yeah, I love this thing, as you can see from the
patina.
Teeners, yeah. Tiner. Yeah. I got this. I bought this as a birthday present for myself last year, and I just can't stop carrying it. I just love this thing.
It is funny how you sometimes gravitate to that one knife that means an awful lot to you. I love Michael May's back spring work. It is lovely.
Yeah, and he can make other different styles of backspring work as well if you ask him and stuff. Yeah, I really love this knife, so that's why I've been carrying. And Randy made a slip specifically for it.
Specifically for that very knife.
Well, he just gifted it to me. He didn't tell me. I don't even know how he got my address. That was the worst thing. I was just like, "There's a slip." Who made this?
We seem to be able to get everybody's details. It's not hard for us. For like some reason, we can find an address. And we even found Gus as well, didn't we? So
me and Randy have been like this ever since. Basically, we've been really close friends ever since. So, yeah, I love carrying that because of how much it means to me. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
So the other part of it then, and Mikey kind of know this as well. I mean, of late, and from your get up this evening, you have single-handedly been the point of focus for the French cutlery industry. And at least the UK forums. I'm not sure how much of an influence you have been having across the across the water, but
I was very disappointed that I wasn't allowed to carry the torch at the Paris Olympics.
So will we.
For all the good work I've done for helping French cutlery and promoting it to the English-speaking world and Welsh-speaking world. Yeah.
I mean, what was it that got you started with French knives? I mean, come on, the only French knife that we know of, and I mean, I'm really worried about saying this, is Open Ale. And wonderful as Open Ale are, I mean, they're hardly a sort of, a classic they may be, but they're hardly an example of the finest
They're hardly cutting edge, are they?
Yeah, well, an Opinel has its place.
It does. And that's exactly where mine is.
No, I actually really do love Opinels. Actually, I think they're just. I just think they're fantastic, rustic little knives. Loads of people carry them in. Where I live in North Wales, they sell them in all the outdoor shops right next to the Victorinox Susami knives. Yeah. That's the next thing you'll see. You'll see everyone taking it out to eat their steaks or something. It will always be an Opinel.
Yeah.
They're just they're so thin and slicey, and they have their quirks. Having to bash it if it's
if it doesn't want to open,
if it's quite wet.
If it doesn't open, give it a little tap.
But I like them. I like them. So I find them charming and useful. And if I lose one, I don't mind losing one. You know,
that is true. I mean, they are cheap, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's a great knife as well for somebody who's maybe thinking about carrying a pocket knife, starting off.
Yeah. Yes, I've got one. I do still own one.
Mikey, you're a hypocrite. A hypocrite.
I'm surprised that's not on Jesse's lanyard. That would be a perfect prison pocket carry then.
Absolutely.
I think I wanted something with more sort of meat to it, really.
Yeah.
Like the one you showed on Sunday night, Mikey. Yeah, probably.
That was just a small fifth pocket carry.
Yeah.
What size are your pockets, boy? Good grief. Anyway, Elan, before we go any further, I'm sorry, but I have to, because honest to God, I've never seen such a show of drama in the chat before. For the love of God, will you just say hello to me?
Je t'aime, Missy. Je t'aime.
I said say hello. I didn't say flipping flirt. What kind of channel do you think this is?
Well, you know, somebody has to bring the class up. Yeah.
Especially that Stevens got here.
We have been accusing you of being the poster boy for the UK knife community. So.
Yeah. Calendar 2025.
Calendar 2025.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So the knife that actually started it for me was the non-tron, and I fell in love with the. So I was looking for like Celtic knives, like Celtic friction folders, and what were the traditional patterns. And I knew there were some patterns, especially in the I know in the Basque region and things like that. So all down the western coast and Portugal and Andalusia and those sort of places. And I came across this when I was searching for that, because this symbol here, the sort of arch with the 3 dots, is very similar to the Eisteddfod national symbol that we use. And the reason being is because it's a Druidic symbol that's over 2,000 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's how I came in to find the non-tron. And then I fell in love with the history of non-tron and the town of non-tron and how long I've been making knives. I've been making knives since the Iron Age, non-stop, making blades and cutlery since the Iron Age, non-stop.
So where is Montron as a place then?
It's in the Périgord region. Yeah, Périgord region. So it's southwest, southwestern France, basically. Yeah,
gotcha.
And it's quite mountainous. Yeah, and
so it's got part of the Pyrenees then down in the southern border.
And this is the actual what the Opinel is based off of.
Yeah, that round collar is very typical.
So it's got the string ferrule, but this pattern is at least 1,000 years old.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and to think that it's made on a lathe.
So it's turned. The wood handle is turned. Yeah,
it's turned on a lathe. So they glue the pieces together. So they've got olive wood, ebony, and aluminium, and just some bloke stands there with a chisel.
Takes a bit out,
yeah, and some of them are machined these days, but I think they finish the ends off by hand and that sort of stuff. But they're all constructed by hand, and unlike an Opinel, you can see they've capped the front. If I could find the Opinel,
I think
that's gone. I'm never finding that again. I think it's fallen through the floorboards. It's fallen through the floorboards. That is right. But as you can see, here's exposed on the Opinel, so it's just wood. So that's why it swells so much. But here they've sort of closed it off, and then inside they've actually put washers in, so you can easily take it out when it's wet, and that sort of stuff.
So it overcomes the Opinel problem that you were
talking those about. Problems. So they've added a few elements to modernize it, but this comes in a number of sizes as well, and a number of different handle materials at the end. So you've got a ferrule, the ball, which I have, the carp tail, and the clog.
Clog?
The clog as well, yeah. It looks like a clog at the end. And it's tradition in that region to be given one of these when you're between the ages of like 13 to 18. That you're given one. It's just tradition. Everybody just gets one somewhere in one of those birthdays around there, depending on how the parents feel about giving a knife to their children. But yeah, and that's been the tradition for hundreds of years. Yeah,
it's
and
actually the handle actually reminds me a little bit, just the format of it. Although one side would be flat, is the skein do, the fixed blade skein do, the Scotch.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, it's Celtic again, isn't it?
But so, it's a completely round handle, so it's incredibly comfortable.
Yeah, and it's obviously coming off the design of a
thin, slicey blade as well. Like it's incredibly thin and slicey. Yeah. And I just fell in love with French knives because of this knife.
Yeah.
And then I went looking for French knives I could carry that were legal for me to carry because
that looks like it's a wee bit more than 3 inches.
Yeah, they do make one that's actually got a cutting edge of less than 3 inches. They make maybe 2 or 3, but they also make what's called a violin pattern as well, which is from that region as well. But that's a slip joint, so it's a much later pattern. But yeah, I adore this. I use this to cook all the time. I just prefer this over my kitchen knife, actually.
Kitchen knife,
using this, because it's so thin and slicey. I can chop veg incredibly thin with it. It's just superb.
Well, you're preaching to the converted here because Mikey doesn't have kitchen knives. All he does in his kitchen is spider coats. Like that's all he has.
Spider coats.
Hey, whatever works. As long as the meal's tasty at the end, who cares? You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Exactly.
Right, Lan, you've got a couple of comments to rebuff. First and foremost, Griff is saying that Brittany is the only place that Welshmen should be getting knives from, obviously because of that Celtic link.
Yeah,
but you've got to tell them that you've got to move further afield.
If anyone hasn't gone to Lorient, by the way, the Culture Festival, I highly recommend people go. Actually,
very nice. And then Willie Mac Glass is saying that apparently it's a door handle with a knife built in. that must be French. Dispersions.
It'd be a very fancy door handle, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they'd probably charge 10 times as much if it was a door handle.
So where did it go from there, then, Alan?
Well, I just went searching, and I went searching for. I basically searched the internet through the language of French, basically, and I found
searching for knives in the language of love.
Yes. Well, you know.
He says it with such passion, though, Mikey, doesn't he?
Well, you know. It's just the way it is.
Comme ci, comme ça, you know. And I found the Thiers pattern. And Thiers is the capital of cutlery in France, so it's their Sheffield, their Zollingen, that sort of thing. And then I discovered that this little cutlery shop in Thiers, run by a little family called Chambriard, and they made one that was UK legal.
There you go.
And I corresponded with them back and forth, and they sent me this, and it wasn't as expensive as you would think. Like most of these knives are, well, like around the €100 mark, or between like €60 to maybe €110. That's what most of them are.
Yeah.
So they're not and they're handmade, and I know who made them. And the father co-created this pattern. So the father co-created this pattern in 1994 because the city itself didn't have a pattern. Right. So nearly every maker in Thiers, custom or much larger, like handmade company, well, it's not a large, it's, talking maximum maybe 10 to 15 employees normally, make this knife, and wow. They offer it. And he was head of the guild between 2008 to 2015-16, I think. He was head of that guild. And you have to be in the guild to be able to make this knife, because it's the stamp, the tiers. You'll see that on the blade, it'll have the Par Champriard, that's the maker underneath. It'll be different. And it'll have that T symbol there as well with the dot somewhere along the knife.
Yeah.
And it's a symbol of quality, so it has to go through quality assurances. So if you're worried about getting a certain knife from somewhere, maybe the quality of a handmade knife or something, but these are superb. These are impeccable.
Yeah.
And
so go for a tier branded, and it's like a guarantee of quality almost.
Yeah, it's a guarantee. It's a guarantee. They have to submit a knife or a few knives. They have some creative freedom with the design, but they're just made to a certain standard. Like,
they are gorgeous.
That is gorgeous.
Nice,
is
that olive wood?
No, it's juniper wood. So it smells like juniper if you've been to south of France,
yeah,
or Spain, or along the Mediterranean anyway, you will smell this constantly, won't you?
Yeah.
In the evenings, and it's like the most beautifully pleasant smell. And this wood it's pungent with that smell. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And they make them in multiple sizes, but this one's called the compact. So it's meant to be like a small pocket knife. It's got 7 centimeter long blade, a 9 centimeter handle, so like 3.5 inches, and 14C28 blade steel.
Yeah, so it's quality steel as well.
Yeah, it's good
not
steel.
Just your bog standard carbon. It is a quality,
and it's a fantastic shape if you're a person who enjoys a sodbuster.
Yeah,
Mikey.
I am listening. Mikey, buy the knife, Mikey. Mikey, buy the knife.
You've convinced Griff.
Go on then, Mikey. I'm waiting. I'll wait. Go on, go away. Yeah.
You've convinced Griff. He needs a link for that knife, so we'll try and get him a link for it.
Yeah, I had to buy this the old-fashioned way with an IBAN bank transfer.
Yeah,
and
because
I had to communicate. I had to call them up.
Yeah, because you've said to me that you've had to make contact with the makers to get some of those knives shipped over, haven't you?
Yes, and they're very good at handling the customs and stuff in the UK. They've sort of a lot of them are all the little mom and pop shops, basically.
Yeah,
the little family run cutlery shops.
What do you mean, maman et papa shops?
Yes, yeah.
Papa,
Nicole,
Papa,
and okay, less of that now. We might have some French viewers. We want them to keep watching. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll send us knives.
Yeah. Or tell us about them. Please do. If you see a knife that I haven't talked about, you put it in the comments. Okay. The French knife I haven't talked about, but it's just it's wonderful. It's absolutely superb, and the snap on it as well. And it's got a blade stop. It's got a blade stop as well, so it doesn't matter if you smash it down. Every knife I'm showing here has a blade stop.
So, because we've seen that before in some of the French knives, is that they don't have a blade stop or pin that stops that blade.
But because these are, like I said, these are neo-regional.
Yeah.
So they're modern handmade patterns for regions of France. After 1990, it was very popular during the millennium for places to start either resurrecting patterns of their region or getting one made by and designed by a master cutler.
So basically what you're saying is even the French got fed up with like blade wrap. Yeah.
Well, but blade wrap has its place for people who use their knives like farmers do. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they completely wear down the blade, and the and it makes sense to have the tip resting so you can keep using the blade sharpeners constantly. That's the idea behind it. So you can keep sharpening the knife and the tip will never be exposed. That's the idea.
So I've got to keep sharpening my knife then, but
you can keep sharpening it. The kick on this one is actually in the back spring, so you'll see a massive hump. If you actually look at this knife now, I can press it down. That's how you know that it's got a blade stop.
Yeah, because it's acting on the spring, isn't it?
Yeah. And then after that, I found the town of Sauveterre. And this was a town that competed with Thiers for cutlery during the 19th century. And it fell away by the end of the First World War, like a lot of things in Europe. It fell away. And can you see the snake wood on that?
Oh, man.
Stunning.
Yeah. And this is a revived, this is made a pattern because he made a TV show, like a soap, where a woman from Paris went back to run her family cutlery company business in Sauveterre, and it grew the popularity of the town. And a man named Guy Vialli, who's sadly no longer with us, started making handmade cutlery there again and reviving it. And they made this pattern, and this pattern is a mix of a laguiole, but a very early laguiole. So some early laguioles have this shape of a blade, not the yataghan shape that we're used to. And it has a Issangeau handle. And Issangeau is 5 cockerels. That's what it means. And it's a town or a little village in France. And so it's meant to look like a beaked chicken, a cockerel. So sometimes they let the tang out at the back to make it look more like a cockerel or a chicken. Yeah, so that's the idea. And then this has a very nice snap to it as well. All of these knives are perfectly centered, everything, no gaps, nothing.
Yes, because Mikey was a wee bit disappointed with the most recent one that you got. So, but
yeah,
I mean,
that wasn't a neo regional. So I've told Mikey to go after neo regional knives, but I got quite a bit of a better example than Mikey somehow. I don't know how, but
I don't know how. No. I wonder how that could have happened.
You picked it, Mikey. I told you. I told you before you bought it. No. The knife Mikey has is actually quite nice. Actually,
it is nice. I've done a little bit of work to it now, and it's great.
Yeah. And then this town has so a sage leaf. They put a sage leaf on the lamouche because the crest of the town is a sage tree.
Wow, look at that.
So yeah, and it's filed with a lot of detail in there. If you
So, I mean, my brother and sister go across to France regularly for their holidays in their camper. So I know what I'm looking for, Elan. I'm going to get it because he always takes photographs of the knife shops for me.
Yeah.
So, but I've never known what to buy regionally there. So now I know. I'll tell him what to look out for, and just tell him to fill the camper with it.
Fill the camper with like cutlery.
All of it. Under the sills and everything. Sell it to
Absolutely. You take out the door frames and everything, and just
there's loads of places in the mattresses.
Yeah. This is another neo-regional pattern. And the man who makes this is very eccentric and quite the character. And this is a knife made by Jean-Henri Pagnon. Yes, I did get it right. Jean-Henri Pagnon. And this is the Morta. And Morta means, that's a pailleres.
Yeah, but how familiar is that blade shape? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a sage leaf. That's what they call it. They call it the sage leaf blade.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's a very old blade shape.
Yeah.
Very old blade shape. I mean, like really old.
Well, if you think about it, Spyderco was just leveraging that kind of leaf bladed shape. It has got I mean, it's got a lot of miles on it, really.
Yeah. It's a fantastic all round shape, in my opinion. And Morta means bog oak or bogwood. That's what it means. So it's a term for bog oak or bogwood. But Morta is actually the region. It's just under Brittany, and it's got peat marshes, and it's a lot of it is like a national park.
Yeah.
And so this is 5, and the knife maker actually goes and collects this bog oak himself. Yeah, with his dog, and he just has an iron rod that he puts in the ground until he finds a piece, and then he gets it out, gets his Land Rover and pulls it out of the ground with a A-frame crane.
System,
and the inlays there are mammoth ivory.
Oh wow! Wow!
Yeah,
that
mammoth
is
ivory.
Knife.
Yeah, and you can get this hand forged blade as well.
Okay, Alan, I'm going to have to address the elephant in the room. What in the
amazing bead?
What in the name of God is that bead doing on a knife of that quality?
That's an amazing bead. Is it French?
Well, no, it's Irish, Northern Irish. It's a little elf.
Yo ho ho!
Who is it? It looks very similar to somebody I know.
Yeah, I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Wee Judd as an elf.
Wee Judd indeed.
Now you're forever with me with your hands down my trousers.
You are famous now.
I am so lucky, Alan. There are people who would pay for that privilege.
And
certain American people.
And this knife is built like a tank. Because if you look at the liners, they're incredibly thick.
Are they stainless steel as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And it's this is also 14C28, but you can get carbon steel. You can get XC100.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fantastic knife with a bird's eye pivot, like just gorgeous.
Right, Alan, you're not going to believe it.
Oh, we'll keep going. I'm happy to keep going. I've only got a few knives left.
Well, it's not so much that, but we are already past our 30-minute mark. So I'm gonna have to tighten this up a wee bit. So what I'm going to ask you for is, I know you've got a lot of knives there.
I've got 3 left.
Yeah, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to go for your favorite knife first. What's your favorite of all of the knives in front of you, except for apart from the Michael May?
Oh God, that's hard.
Stop! You keep doing this to people.
Okay.
I know, I'm cruel. Oh no! Look at that.
Made by Fontenille Pateau. This one was made by Alexei Tuya, and actually, there's an interview on him online quite recently, a few months back, and my knife is actually on his work table as he's working on it while he's being interviewed. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And if you look, they match the wood on both sides.
Really well, yeah.
And
that is stunning.
Look,
the liners have been filed, the back spring's been filed. This is a lamouche, so it's just a slip joint. It's not a locking mechanism.
Oh man!
And this is powdered steel, RWL34, and it continues along the blade and on the liners on the inside.
So let me ask you a question. I mean, those are the kind of features that we would get on custom builds, by commission, individual knives.
This is on the standard model. You'll get the file work on the standard model. These are all standard models.
So what we're talking is, we're talking actual French cutlers in the same way that Sheffield cutlers, but they're producing these in this quality with these materials. I mean, that's outstanding. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. They've had a lot of people come together and train a lot of young people, and they've somehow managed to keep those people working for them.
Wow.
And people travel from all over Europe to Thiers when they're like 16. Bam, at school, I'm going to Thiers to become a knife maker. That's it, I'm going. And it happens very regularly. And this is poplar, stabilized poplar. And then it's got a little tiger's eye semi-precious stone on a shamrock lamouche. A shamrock lamouche is very traditional in French cutlery, actually.
I gotta get one of them. I mean,
you can get a seashell, you can get a bee, you can get fleur de lis.
Probably all depends on what part of the country you're in, or what.
Sometimes, yeah, but you can request the different lamouche on these.
Wow.
So you can make requests, but yeah, I absolutely adore this knife, and it's UK legal, and it's got a very, very nice bulbous end.
Yeah,
nice swell end in the hand, fills the hand. You know,
stop it! You're getting Sean excited now.
It's got really good girth to it. And if you look at that wood, very lickable. It's just lickable, isn't it? Like, come on.
Sean's past that now, I think.
Well, I don't know about you, Mikey, but this is really. I mean, I didn't know anything about French knives except for like Yule and Thiers, but not in terms of what was available. So
I will leave links to books and websites and things after the live stream if anyone's interested to find.
I am, right?
Or if they're interested in any of these knives, I'll write the names down. So if you watch it again, maybe tomorrow, my comment will be there telling you what all these knives are. So this is probably the hardest knife I ever got to obtain. And this is one of the top cutlers in France. This is made by Jean-Paul Tisser. And I had to communicate with him for a month, 2 months, just begging him, please sell me a knife. Please sell me a knife. And he said, I don't ship to the UK. I don't ship to America. One of the parcels I sent got absolutely confiscated and destroyed.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I know a way how to do it. If you allow me to organize it and pick it up from your house. And then he couldn't pick it from his house, so he drove 60 kilometers to a post office because he lives in like very rural area, to a post office 60 kilometers away. So that might take him maybe an hour or something, and put it post office there that could take this knife. And I got 3 knives off of him. Wow. And he won the Meilleur Oeuvre de France, which is like, it's like a gold. You win a gold medallion, and it's you're competing not just against other cutlery makers, you're competing against every other handmade craftsman in France that submits something that year. And he won all of them. Wow. And he makes knives that can cost up to £25,000. And it takes him 2 years to make one.
How much for that?
This one, £105.
That's not bad, actually.
Yeah, and it's got a horn, so it's got the tip of the horn, and it's obviously it's a French breed, so they have this really beautiful streaks running through, and a Warrenclyffe shape is very unusual in French cutlery. You don't find it.
Yeah,
it doesn't exist really in traditional French patterns.
And did you ask for that shape, or was it?
No, this is the shape he did. If you can see it open, it'll make sense.
Yeah, it's parallel. Yeah, it's just symmetry. Okay,
and it's incredible knife, this one, and this is also in 14C28.
Again, a great style.
But it's look at that back. Can you see a gap there? I can't. You know what I mean? No stepping, nothing.
Got a wee question from Messer HQ there. Do you know if the typical
it's a V.
It's a B.
It's the first Laguiole with the B came in 1908, and it was made by a maker called Jean Camel, who was 3rd or 4th generation of making Laguiole knives. And it might have been inspired by Napoleon, because Napoleon changed when he became he changed the crest of the crown when he became emperor. Yeah, he changed it from the fleur de lis, which is like 3 feathers, and changed it to the bee. So that's the story behind that. But the Laguiole pattern came around after Napoleon died, so like maybe 10 years after he died. But it is a B. But the reason it's confusing is because la mouche means fly in French. Yeah. It's like a regional phrase for fly. Yeah. And this is a capucin handle. So you would find this handle, there's a capucin is a very old pattern, but it's a friction folder pattern. And it's meant to look like a Capuchin monk. Who did Capuchin monk walking along? That's the idea.
Oh, right, with the hood on.
Yeah. With the hood on, yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And another knife. I have to thank Mikey for this one because this one came in today. And it is the Navette. And this is handmade by, sadly, somebody who's Renaud Aubry, who was incredibly talented and really well loved in Thiers. And I can't believe I found this on Conkeys. I just can't believe I found it. And because of Mikey sent me a picture of another knife. So I went looking for other French knives and I found this and I couldn't believe my eyes when I found it. And it didn't cost me very much. It didn't cost me very much.
Yeah.
But
I was looking at that today as well, Elan, and thinking of you because it was obviously a French
and it's just bone. It's pure bone. It's plain bone. It's not got the carving at the back.
It's a very simple pattern knife.
Yeah, but he did the file work at the back for like a little bit extra. I think it was like €10 extra or something. But I just think this is like a wonderful carry. It's just a beautiful carry. And all of these I've shown are UK legal carry. All of them.
Which is brilliant. That's marvelous.
Yeah, which is what I wanted to show off because I want people to carry them and use them. And like, if you pull this out in front of knife guys, everybody's going to go, "Oh, what's that?" You know. But this is a Navette pattern, and it's a camp knife pattern basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll often find it with extra pocket tools and a corkscrew and things like that, like we would a Swiss Army knife. And it's usually made with it has bull horn handles.
Mm-hmm.
And this just and it has a half stop. So this pattern specifically has a half stop. Yeah. And I've pretty much showed all the French knives that were UK legal that I have. Yeah.
One last question from Messer HQ. Is that the same Navette that makes the Sujet Venus and other brass motif knives?
Yes, it's the same pattern, yeah. Same pattern,
that was said with such confidence. I thought he'd caught you out there for a second.
No, because the brass ones are made by people like Corsol. So they're renowned for making the brass knives with the little decorations for different cities and stuff for like tourists and stuff. But it's the same pattern. But this one's handmade by Renaud Aubry, who was incredibly talented from what I've found there. So
Elan is not the only incredibly talented person here. You have shown us, you have exposed us to a wealth of knowledge and an absolute treasure trove of French knives. I'm blown away. Mikey, what about you?
And I've got more UK legal ones I found as well.
Fantastic.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody who knows that much about the makers and dates and names and
there's
brilliant.
There's a reason for that, and it's because I don't know why, but when it comes to carrying a pocket knife, I like knowing who made it. I like knowing that I'm supporting somebody, you know, and they're not charging me ridiculous amounts of money. Like if you're actually thinking about the materials in this, like it's like a lot of it's like A grade wood.
Oh yeah.
The file work takes like half an hour to an hour alone just for the simple file work. They're making the back springs, they're making it all by hand, and they like you can tell they care. Do you know what I mean? Like the way it's made, you can tell they care by
absolutely
just how well it's made. And it's just like I like putting a face to somebody who makes my knives. I know I'm supporting. I know who I'm supporting. I know what I'm supporting. And like they're heirloom pieces basically.
Yeah,
I can give those down, like hand those down to 25 grandchildren I have in the future, like Paddy.
Paddy, exactly. May not be here, but he definitely not forgotten.
Yeah.
But actually, that leads on to, I mean, my last question anyway, because you were sharing with us, you have a particular.
Oh, I have a phrase to say to Sean actually. Je ne porte pas de pantalon.
The pantalones?
You know what the last word means, Sean. You know what the last word means.
But no, what I was going to say, that you have a very particular way of approach to collecting knives. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, well, explain what your approach is.
Well, my approach is I just want a clip point barlow from every maker in Sheffield, like a person who's working in Sheffield currently. So just one clip point barlow, like, or from Sheffield, whatever. But they've just got, I don't know what it is about French knives. They've kept the patterns going. They have so many patterns. And you can just, you can really get lost in the regional, like the old regional patterns and the neo-regional patterns.
Yeah.
You can just really get lost. I think that's one thing I wish Sheffield Cutlery would do, is maybe revive some of those patterns, because I know they've got like Sodbuster style stuff. We've all seen the Taylor's Eyewitness catalogues, the old Taylor's Eyewitness, Joseph Rogers catalogues. Yeah, it's just I want to see that, basically. That's what I want to see. I don't. The problem with these cutlers is they're so busy making the things, they don't think they don't have time to promote. Like it has to travel through word of mouth.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what Michael was saying last week, is when we were asking about, you know, any chance of getting a different pattern or taking some of Ashley's.
And they're intelligent. They're intelligent.
They don't have the capacity.
They're intelligent men and women as well, and you know they could earn way more doing something else, but they are so passionate about what they do. It's just carrying one of their knives is a privilege. It's a privilege to carry one, to be honest.
It is, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm carrying a Michael May. I'm carrying one by the Chambriard family. I'm carrying one made by Jean-Paul Tissier. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm proud to carry that knife. That's it's just and using it as well.
Well, I think
it's disrespectful not to use your knives, Tony.
Well, you never forget that one.
Yeah.
Tony's repulse would be it's disrespectful to beat your knives, but on that we will.
Well, you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to beat your knives. You can lightly use some of them, but still carry them and use them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Use them with a firm hand.
Yeah.
Elan, thank you very, very much for joining us. I'm sorry to cut it short. We've got lots of people in here. I mean, especially Mrs. C, your biggest fan.
Well, all of these knives give me the French word for happiness. So,
yeah.
Bonheur.
Très content.
Bonheur. Yeah, bonheur.
Elan, thank you so much for joining us. That has been an absolute joy, and I'm glad we finally got around to it. After I'm hoping that you've completely recovered from your injury.
I finally got an excuse to wear my beret.
He's got this big egg on his head where he hit the sink, so he's got a beret on it, hasn't he?
Yeah, you're not supposed to say that to people. Yeah.
Elan, thanks a million. Hang around a wee bit to all of the folks who joined us in the trust, and we're in the chat, and we're up to about 30, Mikey. So that was fantastic. Yep. Thank you so much.
Well.
In Wales, to Griff, to Willie McGlass, to Jesse, although I think Jesse's headed on, to Randy, who's now in, to Tim Titus, to Messer HQ, to Sean, to Kathleen, and of course to Mrs. C. Thank you all for joining us as we were exposed to Elando's passion. Alan, we will have you back, most definitely, my boy. If only to see what new costume you will.
This is the worst decision I've ever made in my life. I'm never coming back. What are you talking about?
No, it's too late. It's too late now. We know where you live.
Yeah, in Mickey's basement. I'm stuck in Mickey's basement. That's the problem.
Just on a last note, what I should say is that, as everybody knows, Alan is probably one of the biggest organizers of the community in terms of showing our appreciation for everybody else. So I'd just like to take my hat off to him and give him a big thank you and a shout out for
there's
all
a
the
lot
work
of other people that help me as well. Mikey's
and there are, but it's you being able putting it out there and pulling it all together. I know Mikey does an awful lot as well, and so
join the Discord group as well, the Slipton Sanitarium, because if you want to learn about French knives or something, you're welcome to DM me. Just ask me a question, and I'll answer what I know. Yeah,
we will bore you to tears with it, but at the end of it, you will want to use that knife on yourself probably. But apart from that,
no. Let's not go there. No, don't do that.
That's probably not the right thing to say. Folks, thank you very much for joining us.
Now I'm never coming back.
Folks, thank you very much indeed. I'm going to end the
stream.
I'll pass on your best wishes to Stephen, and we'll see you on Thursday, where Mikey, me, and Stephen are going to be talking about what knives we can't actually live without, and there'll be a little bit of audience participation in that too.
Mikey's getting about 10.
Yeah. Take it easy, folks. Bye.
Au revoir.